Welcome back to my channel. I have often argued with people by pointing out that they are looking for perfect solutions when there are none. And worse, that in their effort to find the perfect, they destroy the good. This takes many forms to many different degrees. But the worst aspect is when this is deliberately used to tear down a society by people who know exactly how to propagandize in this way. For them, it is a very serious game they play to destroy a nation so they can pick up the pieces to recreate it the way they want. Consider.
This is the whole game about critical theories. All of these social movements that you're seeing, instead of going compared to the real world, they go, imagine your preferred utopia, then identify the gaps between that and the real world, then declare those gaps as oppression, and then demand society must be remade in order to reflect your utopia.
You see, in the real world, there is literally no way to make everything perfect for everyone. And in a desire to do so, you'll likely make things worse for most. This is the root of socialism. We see people suffering and think the solution is to take from others by force, to give to the people who are suffering, even if their suffering is their own fault. We end up with most people doing worse as we tear down the benefits of free enterprise. I well remember when a Democrat president got unemployment down to a low number. The media played it up as a great thing. But years later, under a Republican president, the unemployment rate also dropped to the same low number, and we got a completely different reaction. In spite of the excellent number, instead of constant praise, we heard other comments included. Things like, but not everyone has benefited. And then the media would have a story about some man who had just lost his job. Or they'd add a comment like, but this business still had to close. It was especially effective if they could present it as the key business in the town. We had a recent example from CNN about the good economic numbers. The K-shaped economic recovery may be working for some Americans, but not all. This is so dishonest. Why? Because there has never been an improving national economy where every single person was better off, or one where no one lost their job, or no business had to close down. That isn't how the world works, and it doesn't matter what economic system you use. Those who control the media can easily manipulate the average person, which is why they get so many people to whine about Jimmy Kimmel losing his free speech when he was suspended for lying. Yet these people are mostly silent about murdering someone to stop their speech if the victim is conservative. And no complaining about how these shows almost never even bring conservatives on. Free speech seems quite selective to the left, and when there is an exception and they do bring on a conservative, the conservative will face an antagonistic host while the Democrats do not. Let me give you a totally different example to make the point of how you can and have been manipulated, just to show how misled you can be. I bet most parents are very afraid of their child being kidnapped by some stranger. So kids today have far less time to just be out doing whatever they want with their friends compared to those of us who grew up in the 50s and 60s. After all, no one wants their child to be kidnapped. We'll hear statistics like 460,000 children go missing every year. But that is very misleading because it isn't about those kids being kidnapped. Much of it is word games. It includes children and even teens who said they'd be home for dinner, but are late. It seems that to qualify as a missing kid, it just requires a person be under the age of 18 and be missing for more than an hour. The 2017 report that gives that 460,000 number also said there were 105 cases where stereotypical kidnappings, the serious cases you see on television shows where a kid is kidnapped by a stranger and they spend an hour trying to save them. Obviously, you don't want your child to be one of those 105 children. But it is just as obvious that it's a lot less than 460,000. Not even close. but that big number scares parents and makes them think things are worse today than when we were kids. Oh, and it seems 92% of those 105 made it home safe. There is something like 72 million kids under 18 in America. The chance of being kidnapped by a stranger is about 1 in 720,000. You are far more likely to have conjoined twins. My point is simply to show how far off from reality your viewpoint probably is, and all because of how the media presents data, or how they cover stories, or even if they cover some stories or not. The media rhetoric, or its repetition of the rhetoric of others, can be quite dangerous.
I think we're in a very dangerous point right now. I'm not being hyperbolic. I'm looking at the things like the Charlie Kirk situation.
I would argue like 20 to 30% of society was happy that that happened.
Yes, which is insane.
Yes, polls show the number of people who are happy Charlie Kirk was assassinated is quite scary. And remember, many of these people are those who claim to be for free speech for Jimmy Kimmel, yet accept murder to shut up people they disagree with. All Charlie wanted to do was debate the issues. Seems to be a real lack of perspective to me. Thanks for watching, and don't let the trolls stop you from speaking out.